Sam Darnold throws too many picks. As long as your production is high, I don't have a problem with picks. I don't have to love them, but I'd rather you have picks and throw the ball down the field. What do these 7 quarterbacks have in common? Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Dak, Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. They're all in the top 11 of interceptions this year. The fewest, by the way, is like Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, but they're pocket-based quarterbacks that don't create anything outside of structure. I prefer playmakers outside of structure. In fact, Matt Stafford, the year he won the Super Bowl with the Rams, led the NFL in interceptions. And in fact, in the Super Bowl, he threw 2 of them and still won. From 1998 to 2015, do you know who led the NFL in interceptions? Peyton Manning. And he missed a year. I'm telling you, folks, 4 of the last 6 teams that have won a Super Bowl, the winning quarterback threw a pick in the Super Bowl. Bo Nix is a great example of this. Bo Nix has 9 picks this year. Whoa. But when trailing, he has 16 touchdowns and 1 pick. When do you throw them? Don't throw them in the red zone, which takes away guaranteed points. But if you're at midfield, throw it deep down the sideline, and it gets picked at the 9, that's better than the punter could do. It's a change of possession. Brock Purdy, one of the things I'll defend Brock Purdy about, he's super aggressive. He threw a lot of picks in college. He throws picks in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan loves him because he takes a swing. So this Sam Darnold narrative, you can't win big with Sam Darnold. Last 2 years, he leads the NFL in wins. If you go back to Sam Darnold, the Carolina years, and you pick it up late November, because he sat for the first time in his career. Take the Jets out. He sat in Carolina. When he started playing late November, from that day until now, 3 different teams, he's the winningest quarterback in the league and has a higher 100-plus passer rating percentage than Mahomes. So also, quarterbacks who throw more often throw more picks. The Eagles are literally trying to get Jalen Hurts to throw fewer times because they win more when he throws less. That's what I don't want. I like Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Dak. The coaching staff trusts them. Think about Seattle. Seattle is so much better this year than last, and that's letting go of a Pro Bowl receiver, DK Metcalf. What was the only change? Sam Darnold and a new coordinator. You guys watch the Vikings offense this year? Doesn't quite feel as consistent or dynamic, does it? What happened? One major change. Quarterback left. Same coach, same coordinator, same wide receiver, same O-line. A lot of the same defensive players. They lost Darnold. So this whole thing, Peyton Manning, in a 17-year period, led the NFL in picks. Andrew Luck, a lot of picks. 4 of the last 6 Super Bowl winning teams. The quarterback threw a pick in the game. The world has changed. If you can make plays with your feet and move the chains, you're a playmaker. It's not just now about safe distribution. Here's Sam Darnold.
We're excited about this challenge. Obviously, it's a divisional game. Playing these guys last time obviously wasn't my best effort. I feel like as an offense, we just got to continue to do what we've been practicing. Stay on the details. But again, this team's a very good defense.
Yeah, I am so pumped for this game today. I am Seattle Seahawks fans and Los Angeles Rams fans. I am live streaming this game, so please check it out. I'll be live streaming it. I'll be doing it vertically, I think. So it'll be like through the shorts or whatever. So I think you got to just like click my profile picture and we'll be there. Always a good time. So please definitely check that out. Colin's saying a lot of stuff here. He's saying a lot of stuff here. I mean, we're just putting all the names in here now. He's like, interceptions aren't that bad. Look at the list of people up there. And it's like, yeah, Geno Smith not having such a good year. To a tongue below, just got benched. J.J. McCarthy, people are really not too happy. Colin literally just went on a whole rant about it, about how they're not looking too good now. Joe Flacco, had a little bit of fun. Dak Prescott not going anywhere. and Trevor Lawrence. When he was throwing all those interceptions, it was a big problem. When he stopped throwing the interceptions, the offense got a lot better. So Colin's been talking about how Trevor Lawrence is on a heater these 5 weeks or whatever. And it's like, yeah, and he's got like 10 touchdowns, like 1 interception or, whatever it is. So we got to have some nuance here. And you guys know, massive supporter of Sam Darnold. I was way early on that. So, I'll say whatever I want here. With regards to interceptions, like we say, quarterback, like Matthew Stafford, he threw 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was really bad. If the Bengals were a better offense and had a better O-line, those would have been devastating picks if the Rams defense wasn't good enough. If the Rams defense couldn't, help minimize those issues, the problems with those interceptions, it would have had devastating consequences. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. His last Super Bowl that he won, he threw an interception in 2023. It was terrible. It had nothing to do with being aggressive in this. It was a terrible interception. His defense was elite and was able to limit the repercussions of it. They had to punt, I think. I don't even think they even got a field goal out of it. So, under that circumstances, they're better. And that's Sam Darnold with those 4 interceptions against the Rams. Those were bad plays for the most part. And thankfully, the Seahawks defense was great, and so they were able to, mitigate the issues. And so that's a good thing. But some of Sam's interceptions, a bunch of them were just brilliant plays. I've seen them all. Brilliant plays, and you're just like, oh my gosh. Against the Texans. I mean, you're just handshake with the defense. A bunch of the other interceptions are really fluky where you're just like, what the heck? What? How did that just get intercepted? It felt like you're watching a cartoon. And then another section of the interceptions are just like, oh, come on, man. I've been talking about how great you are, how amazing you are. You're embarrassing me right now. You can't be throwing a ball like that right now. And so he hasn't been inherently, at least when we're talking about interceptions here, they're really not terrible. He's had some bad luck and had some bad luck, not only with bad luck in terms of, whoa, I can't believe that just happened. But then bad luck in terms of that's a heck of a play that defender just, had. And that's why really turnover worthy plays, it really is the better statistic than just interceptions, because there's so many times that you don't pay the repercussions for your interceptions. I mean, in a vacuum, Tua would have 25 interceptions. Baker 23, Trevor 20, Patrick Mahomes 20, Geno Smith 19, Daniel Jones 18, etc., etc. And so Sam Darnold's right in that range. You saw, Justin Herbert was on that list of interceptions, and it's he's essentially had to pay the repercussions for essentially every single turnover worthy play he's had. He has not had the benefit of doubt of oh, fortunately that wasn't, intercepted. He has not been on the receiving end of that very much so. But I think if you're looking at it throughout the course of a season, I don't know, maybe anywhere between 10 and 15 feels kind of right. Wow, that worked so well. I just went to Tom Brady 2020, and he had 12 intercept, 12 turnover-worthy plays. Aaron Rodgers, 12 turnover-worthy plays. That's kind of what you want at Patrick Mahomes 22, but was really lucky that he only had 6 interceptions. Tom Brady had 12 turnover-worthy plays, and all 12 of them were intercepted. He was obviously on the receiving end of some bad luck. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, his interceptions could have tripled. That probably would have had some repercussions all the game here. Okay, Tom Brady in 2016, 4 turnover-worthy plays. This is the lowest I've ever seen. 8% turnover-worthy percentage. That's also probably even the most superior statistic out of all of them. Because now it's the percent of throws, because obviously if you throw the ball more, it's going to be in harm's way more often. I don't think we have any hard and fast rules for some of this stuff. Colin's if you throw an interception at the 50, and it's on the 10-yard line, it's I don't know, man, that's great field position. If you're 2nd and 5 at the 50 and you throw an interception, that's kind of devastating because you're just a couple players away from at least hitting a field goal. So I get also you can't be too conservative, right? There's got to be some number. I'm just not so sure we 100% have it. And I do agree the league is changing. And so you can't just go by, right? I'm not just going to go by like Tom Brady, right? Like, well, Tom Brady did it, therefore. And it's like, well, that's also Tom Brady. Like Colin's bringing up like Peyton Manning. And it's like, yeah, we're talking about some of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. They're not necessarily the norm. Lamar Jackson will hold on to the ball for a little too long. So will Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and it's because of their ability to make plays in ways that other quarterbacks simply can't. That doesn't mean that it's okay to hold on to the ball. You know, they always point this out when you have a young quarterback who's like, you know, kind of backpedaling and, you know, and just moving backwards, and they're like, you're not good enough to do that. You're not Lamar. Lamar Jackson can get away with it. But if you're being coached and you call hike and you see some pressure coming your way and you start backpedaling and moving backwards, you're like, no, you can't do that. Lamar can, you can't. So you do always have to kind of figure out when some people can and when you're one of those that can and one of those that can't. And you know, I think it's Mike Vrale. I have it saved on my phone where he kind of talks about, I think it's Rail, where he talks about how like you don't want sacks. Like that's his big thing where he's just like, you don't want sacks. He's like, you know, if you get sacked on a drive, the chances of you scoring gets like cut in half or something. And you know, they always talk about you got to win the turnover battle, got to win the turnover battle, got to win the turnover battle. And it's just like that. That's why I just think it's more nuance and just like, hey, it's okay to throw interceptions. Like if you're in a battle between the Rams and the Seahawks, throwing interceptions is pretty harmful, pretty devastating. It's momentum shifting. Jordan loves slinging the ball all over the field. Those interceptions that he had against the Denver Broncos were absolutely positively devastating. No question about it. No question about it. Patrick Mahomes had an interception against the Chargers. Devastating. He had an interception against the Broncos. Devastating. He had an interception against the Jaguars. Devastating. Trevor Lawrence had an interception against the Chiefs. Devastating, right? So, you know, Jalen Hurts is one of those quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl throwing an interception, and it was like, dude, that was not good. That you were gaining momentum in that game, and you gave an opportunity for Patrick Mahomes. Just happened to Patrick Mahomes threw 2 interceptions and a fumble. But still, so I just think we got to be a little bit careful. And listen, this is not my way of being like Sam Darnold's actually not as good as you think. But it's just like, because I think even his interceptions are not misleading, but just they've been an interesting mix. A mix between some flukes, amazing plays, and some please never do that again. And the please never do that again are definitely a lot less than the other ones, which is good. The only problem is the ooh, don't do it again, or like in moments when you're just like, we can't have that, like in a huge game against the Los Angeles Rams. So that's where this conversation just continues to I find interesting. And it is pretty funny to see Sam have this type of success, right? In the last 2 seasons, first in wins, second in passing yards, fourth in passing touchdowns, giveaways. Last 32, last as in the most, or last in, I assume it's got to be the most. Like when you're last, that means you're giving the ball away the most, right? Would be my guess. And, you know, I don't know, it would be interesting to look at those 6 losses and see how many, you know, what was the touchdown to interception ratio in those 6 losses, or just the, you know, touchdown to turnover ratio. My guess is probably not the best. So it's just like, I think this is just where you kind of have to be a little careful with the numbers. Now, I think it's fair to also say that interceptions and turnovers aren't maybe the most devastating thing out there. Maybe not as much as it sometimes feels when you're watching a game when someone throws an interception, but like, you know, it's, I don't know. You could make the argument too, when you have a great defense, you should be more willing to take chances because your defense can withstand the turnovers, or hey, our defense is great. Let's not put them out there any longer than they need to. Let's have sustained drives. Let's be smart. Let's just manage the game. Our defense is taking care of business. Like I can see both arguments. Let's be super aggressive because we turn the ball over. We got our defense. They protect us. We're good. But I also see it the opposite way, where it's like our defense is great. Let's just be smart. Let's not give any extra possessions to the other team. I don't know if there's this 100% gold standard answer. Like, I feel like Colin is trying to distill this to just like, this is the way. And it's just like, not so sure about that. I mean, Tua, not a playoff team. Geno, not a playoff team. Patrick Mahomes, not a playoff team. Dak, not a playoff team. Flacco, not a playoff team. J.J. McCarthy, not a playoff team. You know, he's seen some comps here. If we look at last year, top interceptions, Kirk Cousins, no. Baker Mayfield knocked out first round. Geno Smith, no. Will Levis, no. Brock Parr, no. Which is funny because he brought up Brock Purdy, and it's like you said that he was too reckless. So no, C.J. Stroud won a playoff game, you know, pretty elite defense, I'd say. Rocking Justin Herbert, who threw a lot of interceptions in that game, and it was devastating. You know, Jared Goff, you know, definitely victory there. Sam Darnold, definitely victory there. But again, both teams didn't win a playoff game. These three guys, these are the playoff teams. You know, Goof, Sam, and Bo didn't win a playoff game. Jordan Love didn't win a playoff game. Now, when we start to get lower, the four guys that got to the conference championship game, Mahomes only 11 interceptions, you know, 26-1. Josh Allen, 28-6. Jalen Hurts, 185. And Jaden, where you at? 259. It's like, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys all have to say. Curious if Sam Darnold throws any interceptions as we watch this game live. So definitely check out the live stream. I'll be here. Should be a good time. Rams, Seahawks. Everything is at stake right here, man. This game can be the difference between winning the Super Bowl and not even winning a playoff game. So, we'll see. Preliminary thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.